As we flip the pages into the last chapter of our book of life, we will see the old version of ourselves, our closing, conclusion, and end of life.
Who even wants to live forever? Growing up, maturing, and aging is natural and inevitable parts of life, and each one of us will soon reach the top of life's ladder, old age, the age of body weakening and deteriorating, the age of risk on developing mental illnesses, and the age in which death is mostly associated with. But the main question is, how will your old self will prepare knowing your life is running out of time? Together with us, let's explore the natural process of dying and stages of loss to assist us in familiarizing death and declination.
The first aspect of dying is physiological.
Physical or physiological death. It occurs when the vital organs no longer function. A dying person no longer wants to eat, breathing becomes more sporadic, and the person often sleeps more and more and may talk less although continues to hear. And when a person no longer has brain activity, they are clinically dead. So how can we lessen its impact in order for us to accept death slowly? Well, we should have a healthy lifestyle. In that way, you live a life to the fullest till the end. But remember, we are the only one who's responsible with our health. It depends on our hygiene habits, the food we eat, and how careful we are regarding diseases and the cleanliness around us.
The second aspect of dying is the social death. It is when others begin to withdraw from someone who is terminally ill. People often withdraw from dying loved ones as they feel uneasy and do not know what else to say or do. In order to lessen the impact of one's death, we should always stay connected with our loved ones, especially at the time where they need us most. It may be painful to say goodbye, but the least we can do is to create happy memories with them to be remembered by and to ensure them a happy death, wherein they do not feel alone in their final hours nor regret not spending any more time with you. At this time, it may feel uneasy to talk about death, but it is still something one has to be prepared for. It is highly costly, from the wake to the burial, so it is important to prepare funds for one's death. The third and last aspect would be the psychic death. It is wherein one begins to accept death, withdraw from others, and regress into the self. This aspect of death shows the person's willingness to live and may affect even their physiological state. The more they are stressed, the more likely they lose their will to live. It is highly encouraged to remain in contact with loved ones before dying. It is said that there is a direct correlation if you are more socially connected to family, to friends, to a community. You are happier, you're physically healthier, and you live longer than someone who is less well connected. The more you bond with your family and friends, the more likely you have a stronger will to live.
And now we're going to discuss the 5 stages of loss, starting with the first stage, denial. Denial is the initial reaction to any bad news, that sometimes it may take various forms. Denial can take the form of a combination of both feigned ignorance and indulgence, wherein the person would go about their day normally without acknowledging death. This is specifically seen in people who are terminally ill. Phrases such as, "No, that is not true," and "that can't be," are indicative of denial. Actions that are taken in order to feel secured and normal, such as refusing medication, are sure signs that people are in this stage. Now moving on to the next stage, anger. Anger is a more subtle stage, as anger is so commonly expressed. Many would prefer it over its relative, sadness, as they attempt to have irrational control over the situation, directing their frustration to death's possible sources. It may be the world, God, another person, anything besides themselves, blaming them in order to express the unfairness that they feel in order to reduce the stress with the possibility that death is close at the door. On to the third stage, which is bargaining. Bargaining can be considered as a healthier form of the first stage denial, as it involves making light of the situation actively with a motive of living longer, participating in activities that will commemorate you once death prevails. Examples would be being better in any form of relationship, being a better person or partner or sibling or friend, involving oneself to a greater cause such as donations, charities, or programs, or simply improving one's lifestyle. Those are examples of the stage bargain.
Depression. How will you feel when you know that you're gonna die? Many of us come to the point of depression because of what we know about our condition. It's that feeling that is too heavy to move. You're so sad. You lose interest in the things you used to love. The kind where you've done nothing but cry and lock yourself into your room. You lose weight because you can't eat well. Depression is part of 5 stages of loss. We'll go through it. Who among us does not feel very sad when we know that we're gonna die. That's how our loved ones talk to us, and sometimes we need to take an antidepressant to conquer it. The last stage is acceptance. When you reach this stage, does it mean it's okay to die? The answer is no. Acceptance stage doesn't mean the person dies happy. It's just that he faced what he afraid of and choose to continue living. Here, we can notice that he seems to be going back to what he used to do because he passed his depression stage. Here, we can also notice that he is already making arrangement agreements, wishes to others. Also, here we can notice in the acceptance stage, he will be happier and will be able to do what he used to be afraid of, as if living to the life to the fullest.
Now, if you think about it, preparing our own death is something that should be normalized. Death is not really about end of our existence. It goes beyond. And mustering up the courage to accept our own death will give us the idea to breathe freely and live our lives as if today will always be our last. Spend our old age nothing but with joy and contentment. And just like that, when we rest for an eternity, we'll think of it like closing a book of